I'm a certified health coach with Take Shape for Life. Welcome to our weekly meeting of Simply Balanced. The goal of this call is to just share information and teach you about creating health in your life. So we are teaching from Living a Longer, Healthier Life, which is the companion guide to Dr. A's Habits of Health. And tonight we are going to do lesson 16, which relates to chapter 20 in the Habits of Health book. As a team, we recognize that everyone learns differently, some from reading books, others by listening, and others through visualization. So the goal of these calls is really just to provide a fun, easy way to learn and understand habits of health. Of course, I want to mention that you don't need to be here for every call, but the lessons do build on each other. So that being said, we hope you find a lot of value in these 30 minutes and deem it spent wisely. We definitely encourage you to invite your family, friends, loved ones to the future calls. So each of these calls are set up the same. They're 30 minutes. We start with a brief introduction, 15 to 20-minute presentation, and then allowing for some time for questions at the end. The presenters are different each week with the different topics, so we're going to change it up for you. You never know who you have in store. There is a little chat feature on the bottom, a little bubble. If you have any questions, you can send them to me, Kate Carpio, or you can send them to everyone, and we will certainly try to make sure we get everything answered at the end. Tonight's lesson, as I mentioned, is lesson 16, which is called Vitanutrients for Optimal Health. Your presenter for tonight is Donna Manley, and she is a certified health coach. Take it away, Miss Donna.
It's an exciting one, guys. Hold on to your seats. We'll try and make Vitanutrients as exciting as we can, okay? I'll give you that. So anyway, we'll start off recognizing that each person here on the call tonight is probably at a different place on your individual journey, okay? Some of us have probably already reached our healthy weights. Hopefully, we're all working on exercising or moving a little more. Just take a look at Danny, water treadmill while we're doing the call. That's such an awesome inspiration. Hopefully, we're working on getting better sleep, getting good restorative sleep. So we're working on getting more healthy, and I'm assuming that we all want to continue to improve our health and every day be a better version of ourselves, right? So if we're on that same track, then you might be asking what's next. Well, the next step in our health journey is to look at something called Vitanutrients. And the first thing we want to look at is nutrient restoration, or reversing the effects of a deficient diet. Now, unfortunately, a lot of our modern farming techniques have caused our foods to become nutrient deficient. Inorganic fertilizers, susceptible crops that are laden with pesticides. We know that's not good. We know how bad that is. Over-farmed soils. All these things contribute to the problem of having nutrient deficit fruits and vegetables. Now combine that with the fact that a lot of our vegetables are treated with sulfites so that they have the appearance of freshness. Okay, we're doing a lot of things that just aren't good for our food. Then on top of that, we've got nutritionally degraded processed foods that now make up over 90% of a typical Western diet. And the canning, cooking, microwaving, and reheating leaves us with serious micronutrient deficiencies. I read about this years ago, like in regard to the microwave and how much of the nutrition, if you're cooking vegetables in the microwave or heating them up, how much of your nutrients are gone just because that's the way you processed it and heated it. So I've tried really hard ever since then to just minimize my use of the microwave. But that's why a lot of people are embracing a raw food diet, because they want to get the maximum nutrition from their food. Because again, even the act of heating it and doing all these things is taking out a lot of the nutrients. So now we want to talk about nutrient augmentation, because now we need some extra nutrients to make up for the nutrient deficient diet, right? So we have to figure out how to balance that and how to get that nutrition back. One thing, excuse me, getting that back, these extra nutrients can provide us with a premium fuel that will actually enhance our cellular and organ functions. So it's a lot more than just getting the right nutrients. It's going to benefit you in so many ways. And I don't know about you, but to me, that really sounds like the path to optimal health, right? So one group of nutrients that we really want to pay some close attention to, and we've heard a lot about it, are the antioxidants. Now, if you remember, Antioxidants are what protect our cells from the damage that's caused by free radicals, which are the dangerous byproducts of a hyperactive immune system, which is brought on by habits of disease. Okay, so antioxidants are really an important factor in, in really creating health and really being healthy and making up for this deficit. You want to make sure you're eating the deep green vegetables, iceberg lettuce, no. Kale, spinach, yes. The darker, the richer the green, the more nutrients you're going to get, the more antioxidants you're going to get. Green tea is good. Certain spices are good. I know at least one person here is going to be really excited to hear that red wine is really good. I know, there she is. And fish oil. So you want to add these things to your diet to really make sure you're getting the antioxidants. Now, I mentioned fish oil. Let's look at that a little more closely, because the omega-3 oils that are in fish provide so many health benefits, it's ridiculous. They boost heart health, they lower blood pressure, they decrease cancer risk, and they do a million more things. So omega-3 fatty acids, omega-3 oils are really, really important and really good for you. Now, we all know that eating fish regularly is a good way to gain these benefits, but there's a downside to that. Unfortunately, right now, there's a really growing shortage of safe fish on the world market. And I'll tell you one incident. I mean, 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, I discovered fell in love with tilapia. And how many articles have we read over the past 5 or 6 years about how little of the tilapia that we're buying is safe? That it's practically poisonous because of the way it's being farmed and the way it's being raised. So based on that, all tilapia is not bad, but do some research. Whatever you're eating, farm-raised salmon as opposed to wild salmon. We've heard a lot about that too. There's a big benefit to wild salmon, a big benefit to the health benefits we get from that. So just do a little research and, just make sure that you're being steered the right way, and you're staying away from the products that, maybe might be unsafe. So definitely work on that and do that. And what's the alternative? If you can't have your fish 3 times a week, if you can't do that, what's the alternative? Supplements. And here we go. I'll make this really easy for you. If you want a good omega-3 supplement that is a good pharmaceutical grade fish oil with all the heavy metals removed, you don't need to look any further than your next B Slim order. The next time you're placing a B Slim order, take a look at the supplements, because Dr. A helped to design an omega-3 daily supplement. You can just buy when you place your next order. So you're going to get the good quality. If you don't want to do a lot of research and a lot of looking, that would be something that you could do that would really make a big difference in your health. Now, the next area we want to look at is vitamins. And I am not even going to begin to go into detail about all the vitamins that your body needs. So instead, I'll encourage you to go to chapter 20, and you can get a detailed breakdown of every single vitamin that your body needs, and get a lot of information there. But here's one thing I read that's really interesting. It's interesting that despite the fact that multivitamins have been proven effective for health, only 2 in 5 people actually take them. So do some research on vitamins, see what you need, and definitely add them, because again, even though you think you're eating healthy, our food really is very deficit today of everything you need. So you have to supplement it to really get all the nutrition you need. Now we're going to quickly look at minerals. Now, minerals originate in the earth, and most of the minerals in your diet, they either come directly from plants or they come indirectly from animal sources. And some of the key contributors to our health in this area are minerals like calcium, magnesium, selenium, zinc, iron, copper, and more and more and more. But here's some fun information on minerals. Calcium. If you want to test the effectiveness of your calcium, put it in vinegar, and it should be completely dissolved in 30 minutes. That'll tell you if you're using a good supplement. How about magnesium? Take an Epsom salt bath, and your body will draw out the magnesium that it needs. How sweet is that? You just relax in the tub, and your body will just take what it needs. Iron. Always check with your doctor before taking an iron supplement, because it's possible to have too much iron in your body, and you don't want to do that. Now, here's one that's really interesting that I didn't know. The vast majority of Americans are chromium deficient, which is a condition that can cause sugar cravings. So getting enough chromium can actually help reverse fat accumulation. Who knew? That's pretty interesting. So this chapter as a whole could probably be a month-long course, okay? I can't even begin to go into detail because there are like hundreds of vitamins, hundreds of minerals, qualities that go along with each one. So I do really encourage you not only to look at it in the book, but in the workbook, which is what we're working from tonight. For this chapter, it's really fun because they just have some fun little charts and some fun little exercises you can do, like matching games, like here are the minerals and here are the results, and then you match them up. So you can read it in the Habits of Health and then kind of test your knowledge and do the little exercises and see how it goes. But bottom line, where do you go from here? Okay. Now your goal is to identify the areas where you have specific deficiencies, because we all eat differently. We all buy our foods differently. Some of us buy organic, some of us don't. So we all have different deficits. So the thing is, you have to find out specifically what you need so that you have the right balance of all these nutrients in your body. So you need to focus on adjusting your intake so that you reach that optimal level. Now, one simple way to do it, back to the Habits of Health, back in chapter 5, if you remember, you did a health assessment. So one of the easiest places to start is go back to that health assessment and pay particular attention to your lipid evaluation, your nutritional evaluation, your current diseases and medications, and your family history of disease. That's going to start to give you an idea where you need to focus and what you might need in addition to what you're already getting. Now, you can also ask your doctor it's called an HSCPR test, and Mary Beth talked about this in one of the recent chapters, which can determine your risk of heart disease or other inflammation-related conditions. So you can ask him if maybe he wants to look at that too, and get your blood work done. I mean, if you get your annual blood work done and get a full workup, you'll be able to see. I mean, you might be in range for a lot of the areas that are being tested, but if you're at the low end of the range, then talk to your doctor. Maybe something needs to be done to boost that a little bit and get that closer to where it needs to be. Now, you also want to look at the balance of your macronutrients. Now, I don't know if you remember back in chapter 9, we talked about your macronutrients. Remember, we had the 9-inch plate and we talk about splitting it up as far as how you should eat. Well, it's also the same kind of split for your macronutrients. About half of your daily intake, about 50% of your daily intake should be carbs, 25% should be protein, and 25% should be fat. Rough numbers. I mean, it's like 21, 23, whatever, 45 to 60 for your carbs. But that should be the breakout of your macronutrients. And I know you probably think I get a commission for talking about my Fitness Pal, and I promise I don't. But honestly, that is one of the best ways to see if you're getting the right balance of your macronutrients. You can put the app on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, journal in your food for the day, and at the end of the day, you will get a pie chart. And that pie chart is going to be very revealing, because you might look and your carbs might only be 30%. And your fat might be 30%, and then 40% protein. So that's way out of whack. You want it to be so that your carbs are half the day. Half of the pie chart should be carbs, half protein, quarter protein, quarter fat. Now, I got to tell you something interesting that one of my clients does. He loves my Fitness Pal, uses it every day. He's already a year after hitting his goal, and he's just not deviating at all. And the journaling has really helped him keep on track. But he plugs his food in the morning that he plans on eating through the day. And you might think that's a lot of work, but we all know that a little time you take to plan anything is going to save you so much time later. Think about it. Every time he needs to eat during the day, he doesn't go to the cabinet and say, oh, what am I going to have now? I need to have a fueling, about 100, whatever. He just looks at my Fitness Pal and says, oh, okay, it's time to have whatever. And it saves you so much time later. But the reason he does it early is because if he plugs it in the morning and sees that his macronutrients are out of balance, maybe he needs a little more protein, then he changes up what he's going to eat during the day so he gets the right amount of protein. And he's hysterical because he shows me, and he'll show me his pie chart for every day, and it looks identical because he makes sure he gets the exact right balance. So that is important. So if you're getting that balance, then you're halfway there with the food you're eating. So you really want to take a look at that. My Fitness Pal will also tell you at the end of that day, vitamins and minerals too, and how much you had. So you'll be able to see where where you have a deficit in those areas too. So it's just a great tool. There are probably lots of other tools, but this is a great one to start with. So there's even more information. There is, like I said, there is so much, but try and take a look at those things. Spend some time talking to your physician because, again, your specific situation, again, any medications you might be on, you know, are really going to dictate what you need and where you need to boost things so that you can have the right balance, because this is the next step. We want to just keep moving closer and closer to optimal health and just be the best we can be. So now you have some great information to help you to correct those deficiencies that result from our wonderful modern lifestyle that's here to help us. And unfortunately, through all this, we've learned it does a lot more to hurt us. So we have to kind of take things into our own hands and change things up so we start doing things the right way. But now you have this information. It's also here to help you flourish and thrive at your best, not just now, but for years to come. So add this to everything you've learned up until now, and you're ready to take on the world. So with that, that's all I've got. Do we have any questions?
Ready to take on the world?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. We actually have several questions, some that were put in the chat and others that were sent to me. One that just, the last one that just came in on the chat, it's about the Fitness Pal. Since you're clearly getting a commission. Just kidding. Does Fitness Pal calculate our fuelings?
Yes. And the beautiful thing is, if you do it with your phone, it has a barcode. So you just hold up your fueling, scan the barcode, and boom, everything's there. Could not be easier.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So something that I'm confused on, so I figure if I am, maybe somebody else is. But on the plate, I guess on the pie chart, I thought that 50% was supposed to be vegetables, not carbs. This is true, but remember, carbs are coming from more than your vegetables. Right.
On that, we have two different pie plates. One is for what you should be eating, and one is for the macronutrients.
Okay.
What you should be eating is half vegetables, but then it's also a quarter of a starch.
That's where I was really confused. I'm like, really?
Two different things. It's the same kind of breakout, but one is just the 9-inch plate is about portion control. The portion control picture of it is that half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables. A quarter of it should be a healthy grain, and a quarter of it should be your protein. Now, obviously, if you're on the 5-in-1, this does not apply because we're not eating grains yet. So that's the portion control 9-inch plate. This is the same kind of breakout. It's the half and the 2 quarters, but this is the macronutrients.
Okay.
Glad you asked.
That really confused me, and I had some questions coming into me as well, and I was like, oh no.
Yes.
So a couple other questions that I had written down as they were coming in. You know, you talked about the farm-raised fish versus the wild fish. You know, I guess I thought that people were starting to raise, you know, the farm fish because the wild fish weren't healthy, but it sounds like you're saying completely the opposite.
It depends on the conditions, because like with the tilapia, for instance, you primarily want to be very concerned if it's coming out of China. Be very wary. There's some of the farms in China are fine, but some of them are raising them in such tight quarters where they're eating feces. It's not clean conditions, and it's basically becoming almost poisonous. So it's just, it depends on the conditions on which they're being raised. So that's why you want to do a little research. Some of them are probably done very well and they give them enough room, but some of them are putting a lot of them in tight quarters, and it's not a good situation. So
should I hate to make assumptions, but that really it's maybe the tilapia that's from the store versus a restaurant? Because, I mean, you don't know where it's coming from. You still don't know where it's coming from as far as the country. You ask at a restaurant? Is that something that
in a restaurant? I'll tell you what, if it's I don't know. I would ask, if you're curious, I would ask them. If you're going to have it once in a restaurant in a blue moon, I wouldn't worry about it. If you're having it every week, I'd ask them. I'd just say, where do you get it from? Okay. Now I Googled it online, and there were even a few sites that told you what brands were good and what stores were good. And I used to get the Costco Kirkland brand, and they said that's good. That's from Indonesia, and they said that's really good. Okay. So just do a little research. But yeah, in a restaurant, go with the caliber of the restaurant. If it's a quality restaurant, I would tend to trust it a little more so.
Right. Okay. All right. So another question that came in on the chat is, do you recommend taking a probiotic?
Absolutely, and there's a whole section on that in the chapter too. Like I said, there was so much information, couldn't begin to do it in a day. But yeah, I mean, probiotics are so good for your gut health, for your, it's just, yeah, probiotics are good. But again, maybe you might be getting some of it naturally in what you're eating. So you still need to look at your whole lifestyle, talk to your doctor, and see if you really need that as a supplement. But maybe you're getting some of it already. I don't know how much yogurt you eat. I don't know how many things you're eating that have it. So how much of a supplement do you need and all that? I mean, so many, our fuelings, our new fuelings have probiotics in too. So I would say talk to your doctor to see if you need anything additional as far as a supplement.
Okay. There was another question that was, should we just take a multivitamin versus try to figure this out ourselves?
All this stuff we talked about, a lot of it's in addition to a multivitamin.
Really?
Yeah. But that's why, one comment he made is like, where do you start with this? Because if you just take everything I just told you to take, number one, you're not even going to have the time to do it, and you're not going to have the money to do it. We don't all need all of this stuff. Hopefully we're getting the majority of it in our food. So you might not need to take that much, but that's where you have to look at your situation and try and figure out what you need, and the best person to do that with would be your physician. But you can figure out, you can get a starting point on your own.
Okay. So a question just came in. Does that mean yogurt is allowed regarding probiotics? So are you talking on the 5-in-1 for?
Well, you can have yogurt on the 5-in-1. It's one of the for the meatless options.
Mm-hmm.
We have a sheet of meatless options, and you can have yogurt, but they really specify, and it is Greek, I think. Is it Faye? I don't know which brand, but it's very specific.
Okay.
You can have yogurt on the 5-in-1.
Okay,
so again, I saw Mary Beth said it in the chat, and I mentioned it too. All our new Optavia products have probiotics in them, and if you have 5 of them a day, you're getting your full day's allowance of probiotics.
Okay. So there are some things that were coming to me, Chobani and Faye, F-A-G-E. However the fancy name is.
Tell you how to pronounce it. That's the only reason.
Right. Okay. The plain though. So plain. Both of them are.
It probably was. I'm sorry, because I don't have the chart in front of me, so I don't remember exactly.
That's fine. I'm getting some information from others as we speak. So yes. So the Chobani and Faye. Yes. Okay. All right. I have a question, because this you said something about chromium that reduces.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
I know.
Where can I get it?
I know, right? That was pretty exciting. I really liked reading that. Let's see. Calcium. Chromium. Chromium is known to play a central role in both glucose metabolism and body fat. Also affects heart disease, high blood pressure, and the aging process, and can inhibit the release of immune activating cytokines that stimulate the inflammatory state. It's found in brewer's yeast, eggs, chicken, apples, bananas, and spinach, or you can supplement.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Eat more eggs.
An apple a day will help the sugar cravings go away.
There you go.
All right, perfect. Yay. Okay, and it's stainless steel is high in chromium. I guess stainless steel.
That had to be Deb.
And it's available at health stores. Stainless steel available at health stores. Sorry, just kidding. Okay, great, awesome. All right. Any other questions? We had some great information coming through the chats that made it very exciting. So
Who knew? I thought everybody'd snooze through this one. This was a tough one.
No, look at that. See, you say some great pieces of information, shows that we're all paying attention, that's for sure.
Great.
So we know what kind of yogurt we can have with the probiotics. We know that we need to check our tilapia and other fish. We know that we're supposed to take multivitamins. We know that we need probiotics for our gut health. So a lot of great information, Donna. Thank you. Awesome.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So, all right, perfect. Well, look at the time. A couple of minutes early, but pretty close. So fantastic. Lesson 16 done in 30 minutes. Awesome. Thank you again, Donna. We hope that everyone enjoyed tonight's presentation, learned some great information. Next week is lesson 17, which is creating a life of well-being. And that actually relates to chapter 21 in Dr. A's Habits of Health. So be sure to invite your family, friends, and anyone you think might benefit from learning healthy habits. Stay simply balanced. Remember, healthy choices, healthy you. Good night, everyone.